Saints are falling down, and I mean dropping down like a pile of bricks, and somebody needs to be to blame. And we have said this, Jabba, you know this. Who gets pointed at when this goes downhill? It's the head coach. And Dennis Allen has been nothing good when it comes to a head coach. He took over for Sean Payton over just a graceful 10 years of Sean Payton's just illustrious career of the offensive side of the ball. And he also had Drew Brees. He didn't have Drew Brees. He had Jameis Winston. He had all this garbage when it comes to quarterbacks. And they bring in Derek Carr 2 off seasons ago. And Derek Carr has not been the player they thought he was going to be. Then there were stories coming out over the last couple of weeks before Davante Adams was traded to the New York Jets that Davante Adams could be a guy that they could be pulling the trigger, sending him over there to New Orleans to play with Derek Carr. Then Derek Carr went down. And probably that was one of the reasons why there was no more conversation. He was heading to the New York Jets. But right now, the Saints are in a division where it's really run by the Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Those are the 2 best teams in that division right now. And to lose against the Carolina Panthers the way you did, the Carolina Panthers are arguably the worst team in the NFL. You can argue it's the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. There's no reason why the Saints have not played well in the last couple of weeks. Their schedule has been pretty easy. And to me, you have reputable players on this team. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best corners in the league. Cameron Jordan's one of the best defensive linemen in all of football. You have a competent quarterback in Derek Carr. I don't care. And we will get into the whole Thomas situation because we all know Michael Thomas is in a pissy mood. He's pissed off at the Saints because he was mistreated at the end with the Saints and their organization. And they went to the younger wide receiver. This is not a story. Chris Olave is the young superstar that they had. They made the move in the first round a couple of years ago, and they made him their number 1 guy. That is not a story. But what makes this a story is Dennis Allen's record. He's 18-25 in 2.5 years. Who does this remind me of? Well, it's a better record than Bambi. That's for damn sure.
Not by much.
So, hey, listen, I would have rather Dennis Allen than Bambi Sala. I'm running my team and my organization because Bambi didn't even know what the hell he was doing. He had a worse record. But if you look at Dennis Allen and what he has brought to this organization was really nothing. The defense, which he was running before he took over this organization and became the head coach of this organization, this defense was one of the best in the league. He takes over this team and this roster. This defense has fallen out of the top 10 just this quick. And they're getting old. This is an older organization. They need to start to look to rebuild. Over the years, they built their team around great quarterback play in Drew Brees and a great running game. Now, they have Alvin Kamara. To me, that is a piece that I would look to trade right now at the trade deadline because to me, he's the most expensive one when it comes to getting draft picks. But right now, they're not going to make that move because if they make that move, it's going to screw the fans and the fans aren't going to come and watch the football team. There's nothing to watch with this football team right now. It doesn't matter who's going to coach this team right now. Dennis Allen is just that screw that is loosened right out of the wood. And right now, if you look at this organization and where this organization is going, it's going downhill. This is a division right now, like I was just saying. Atlanta got better in the offseason, adding Derek Carr. They have a bunch of young superstars on this roster if they stay healthy. Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I mean, we know about their running game, who just had a sensational game yesterday, by the way. He's on my roster. But this is a team that's moving forward. Then you look at Tampa right now. Baker Mayfield. Look at what Baker did last week. Baker's got a game tonight against Kansas City. If Baker wins and knocks off Kansas City, I mean, nobody's knocked them off this year. And Baker don't even have his 2-star wide receivers. I mean, Baker has been sensational. Now, you look at the quarterback play. Derek Carr going into the last 2 seasons was expected to be the best quarterback in this class. If you look at it last year, Derek Carr was the best quarterback. Baker Mayfield came out of nowhere. Right. He came out of nowhere last year. And then they added Kirk Cousins in the offseason. If you look at the quarterback play, you would have expected Derek Carr to be amongst the NFC's elite. Because if you look at the quarterback play over the last couple of years, it's been horrible. if you look at where the Saints are right now as an organization, it's rebuild time. There is no doubt about it. They're too old. And Michael Thomas speaking out on social media and taking shots at Derek Carr wouldn't sell me enough to know that Derek Carr right now is probably 1 foot out of this organization. I expect Derek Carr not to be back next year. I expect him to be traded in the offseason because he's still under contract. If a team needs a quarterback, or maybe Derek Carr is a backup quarterback now. Maybe he isn't a starting quarterback anymore in the NFL. There's a lot of questions where some of these players see themselves in the next year or so. I mean, Cameron Jordan's getting up there in age. How old is he? 33, 34 years old? Marshawn Lattimore is in the, to me, he's in the prime of his career. He's 29 years old. If Marshawn is expected to win, or he wants to win a Super Bowl, it's not here with the Saints. The Saints had their window. The window is closed. It was never open with Dennis Allen. I don't know why anybody thought it was.
When you lose that culture and now you've got that bickering back and forth, like, you know, and Carr even made a statement in the article on ESPN where he's just like, I got all love for him, but I just didn't agree with his comments. Don't go to social media. Like, give him a phone call or whatever. And obviously this isn't his first time making a comment. We've seen the other comments in the past. So it's not surprising. There's so many dynamics in Errol. I think, is this where you yard sale and just, I mean, the only thing worth watching right now is Kamara, which it's awesome. But do you yard sale it and get what his pinnacle is right now to try and do that from this dynamic? Or do you just kind of play with what you got and see what happens? I yard sale, but that's just me.
It is a yard sale. Right now, this is an organization that's in a division, like I said, that is now become a competitive division. The Buccaneers are 4-4, and the only reason why they're 4-4 is because of the lack of offensive ability that they have now. I mean, they lost their 2-star wide receivers, but if Baker could keep it afloat, they're making the playoffs. The way Baker is playing, they're going to make the playoffs. And the Panthers are horrible. And who would have thought that the Saints would have the same record as the Carolina Panthers right now? The Carolina Panthers, obviously with Canales. Canales is a young coach. This is his first year. Nobody thought that Carolina was just going to just completely be a juggernaut. It's really impressive what Washington is doing right now. And that has a lot to do with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn knows how to coach men. We've seen him do it. He did it in Atlanta. He took a team all the way to the Super Bowl. And we see what Washington has. Jaden Daniels is not a shoo-in quarterback. This guy is an elite. He's going to be an elite quarterback in the future. They don't have anything elite besides Alvin Kamara. And to me, he is the chip that I would move right now. He is the highest chip that they have. They could possibly, if a team's looking for a star running back, maybe the Cowboys. If the Cowboys think they have a chance to make the playoffs, which right now the NFC is so wide open, they might. And you heard what Jerry said today. He said that he still believes this team is a playoff team, even with Dak's injury. So if you think that, and you think you're going to win with Cooper Rush or somebody else, you need a star running back. You don't have a running game. As a matter of fact, Dak Prescott made the longest run out of any running back, any quarterback for that team all season long. Went into 9 weeks, and he had a 15 or 16-yard run. That was the longest run that the Cowboys have had all season. If I were the Cowboys right now, I would be ringing right now the Saints and saying, what would you want for Alvin Kamara? Because Alvin Kamara is still under contract. He has an extension for another year. You make that move. You bring Alvin Kamara, and now you have a chance right now with CeeDee Lamb, Kamara, when Dak comes back, where you can make a run into the playoffs. Because really, what scares you in the NFC? The Lions and the Packers? The Vikings don't scare me. You watched them last night. They were lucky to come out of that game, and they played a backup quarterback in Joe Flacco. So right now, to me, it is so wide open. So there are other teams that would be interested in a running back right now. So I do believe they have to start moving pieces. Marshawn Lattimore is a good player. But what do they want from Marshawn Lattimore? I think they would probably want more from Marshawn Lattimore than Alvin Kamara. One, Marshawn Lattimore is a corner. He's a number one corner. And he's still of age. He's still, 27, 28, or of that magnitude. I don't know exact age. You can look it up. But Alvin Kamara's hitting 30. How long do running backs play in the NFL? at the top of their game. Alvin Kamara might have 2 years of star power. So if you want a piece and you're going to move a big piece like Marshawn Lattimore, it's almost guaranteed a Super Bowl contender is going to give up a first-round draft pick for a star corner.